Hello there guys, and welcome to this X-Plane 11 video. I welcome you aboard this Delta flight today, service from Albuquerque, New Mexico to Salt Lake City, Utah. Our flight time today is approximately 2 hours. We're going to be cruising at 36,000 feet and carrying approximately 6,000 kilos of fuel. So without further ado, let's get to it. I updated the Flight Factor A320 to the latest version, and I saw that a splash screen has been introduced, which is an indication that the aircraft is now nearing official release. With that said, let's go ahead and connect the ground power unit and call the fuel truck. Right, fuel truck is in position, and we're going to set about 6,000 kilos of fuel for our flight today. And let's go ahead and turn on the batteries. Battery 1, battery 2.
Albuquerque International Sunport Information Golf 2000 Zoo.
Right, let's get rid of that. And let's connect the external power. Right, with that done, let's go ahead and set the rears to nav mode. And we're going to go ahead and turn on the fuel pumps. Seatbelt signs are on, non-smoking sign is on, and we're going to arm the emergency light. We're going to wait for the self-test to complete, and then we're going to begin programming the MCDU. Okay, self-test is complete. Now let's go ahead and set the MCDU, and looks like everything is good here. Initialization, we are at Albuquerque, Kilo Alpha Bravo Quebec, and we're heading to Salt Lake City, which is Kilo Sierra Lima Charlie. Flight number today is Delta 2522. Cost index is, well, 50. Cruise altitude is 36,000 feet. Oops. 50, and cruise altitude 36,000 feet. Okay. Line IRS. Alright, let's go ahead and set up our fuel. Alright, so zero fuel, block fuel, everything is set. Let us go ahead and set up our flight plan. Albuquerque departure, we're going to be departing runway 08 through the Largo 3. But I can't see the Largo 3, I can see Largo 2. That's fine, we'll select that. And let's go ahead and take a look at our flight plan real quick here. So this is Largo 3. We're going to exit the SID at Alpha Bravo Quebec. And we're going to be taking Airway Juliet 15. Airway Juliet 15. And we'll exit Juliet 15 at, let's see here, Juliet November Charlie. Juliet November Charlie. And then we're going to take Airway Juliet 12. All the way to Helper. And from there, it is our star into Salt Lake City. Okay, so we're going to say flight plan. Right, let's scroll down to our destination. Salt Lake City, arrival, and we're going to be doing an ILS approach, runway 34 right. Oops. ILS 34 right. That's the one there. Through the Leahy 4, Leahy 5. It's not there. Okay, well, we'll select the closest one. And this is our transition. Insert and insert. Right, let's take a look here. There is a disco right over here. So let's go ahead and clear that. Right, looks like this is you can expect vectors here. This is why it says manual. But what I'll do is I will delete that since we don't have ATC. And we're going to clear the disco now. Insert. That now should fix the problem. Yep. There's another one here. Let's see. Let me delete that one. And that one. Insert. Now everything should be okay. Yep, looks good to me. Alright, let's go ahead and check our flight plan. And we can now step through. That's DOD. And that's our arrival into Salt Lake City, which looks pretty good to me. Okay, we can continue now with the performance data. V2, V rotate, and V1 will just, I think, yeah, we need to enter that ourselves. So 121. Flaps 1 today for departure with 0.5 for our trim. 0.5. Oops. There we go. Flex temperature 45. And everything looks good to me now. So we'll set this to flight plan. This one on performance. Clear that. Okay. Let's go ahead now and get our altimeter for the flight. Albuquerque International, and the altimeter is 29902, which is standard, so we'll leave it alone. Let's set our altitude to 35,000 feet. 36, beg your pardon, 36,000 feet. And all is looking good now for the engine start. I'm going to set this to arc again. And 40. Yeah, all is looking good. So let's make sure the sparking brake is set. And let's go ahead and plan our pushback out of our position.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Alright, time to pair up the APU now. So let's go ahead and turn the APU on. And the APU is now available, so we can turn the APU bleed. Right, APU bleed is now on, and what we can do now is get rid of external power. And we can come over here now and remove the fuel truck and remove the ground power unit. We're now pretty much ready to call the pushback truck and get out of our position. So let's do that.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up. Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Okay, we've been instructed now to release the parking brake.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright, pushback is now taken place, and we can start our engines. Engine mode selector to start, and we're going to start engine number 2 first. Alright, we have a good start on engine number 2. Let's go ahead and start engine number 1. We now have a good start on engine number 1, so we can change the engine mode selector to normal, and we can turn off the APU bleed and APU master. Right, parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow, stand by.
Okay, let's go ahead and set up the auto brake to max and flaps 1. We'll arm the speed brakes. Taxi lights are on.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
Alright, we are good to go now. Alright, let's go ahead and perform our takeoff test. And everything checks okay. Release the parking brake, and let's go. Alright, we are at the whole short point, runway 08. Let's go ahead and turn on the strobes. Oh, we should have turned on the beacon long time back. And the nav lights. That's my bad. And we're going to turn off the landing lights. We're going to set the nose light to takeoff. Runway turn-off light we're going to turn off. And everything else looks okay. Release the parking brake and let's go.
On runway 08.
Alright, we're lined up with the runway and we are cleared for takeoff. B1 and rotate. Positive rate. Gears going up. And flaps are going up. And climb thrust. Okay, and at this point we're going to begin our left turn to intercept our flight plan. I should have set the transition altitude to 18,000, which I forgot to do, and that's why we're getting the QNH blinking here on the screen. – 18,000 feet, and barrel reference to standard. Okay, and at this point, I'm just going to say direct to Curly. There we go. And nav mode is now enabled. We need to disarm the spoilers. And now everything is looking okay, and we are on our way to Salt Lake City, Utah. We forgot to turn on the clock, so we'll do that now. My bad. We continue our steady climb to 36,000 feet, and everything appears per design intent. I'm happy to report that many of the issues that were in this aircraft when it was first introduced as a public beta have been resolved, including the overheating of the brakes. So I'm going to let you guys enjoy the flight, and I will check back with you as soon as we level off at 36,000 feet. Welcome back, guys. We are now cruising at our final cruising altitude of 36,000 feet, and our flight to Salt Lake City appears to be a smooth one according to the weather reports. There are a few scattered clouds near Salt Lake City, but nothing too major. I know many of you are awaiting episode 3 of the Guide to Amazing X-Plane 11 Scenery, in which I will be explaining how to use Ortho4XP with the HD mesh scenery. I am planning that series. It's coming very soon, and there will be an episode 4 in which I show you all the plugins and enhancements I use for scenery, such as the sky color, clouds, the autogen for the trees, and so on and so forth. So I think I'm going to conclude that series with 2 more episodes, and then I'm going to begin another episode for X-Plane beginners. Well, everything appears to be per design intent at the moment, so I'm going to let you guys enjoy the flight, and I will check back with you right before top of descent, where we will configure the MCDU for our approach and landing. Enjoy the flight. Welcome back, guys. We are approximately 90 nautical miles from the destination, so we're going to go ahead now and enter the approach and landing data. So let's go ahead and consult our flight plan. And destination Salt Lake City, altimeter 3024. Ooh, 3024. Okay, and the temperature is 6 degrees. Let's get our wind data. We have about 16 knots at 300 degrees with 22 knots gusting winds. So 316. Transition altitude, let's get this one right this time, 18,000 feet. VAP is 132. And the decision height is 150 feet. Okay, we are now configured, and let's just remember that our approach speed is 132 knots. Everything is looking good. And I'm going to reset the MCP altitude to 6,000 feet. And we are now pretty much ready for our top of descent and for our approach into Salt Lake City. We are now approaching our top of descent point, as you can see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin the descent. And now the aircraft is descending to 6,000 feet. So this is a major difference between the Airbus and the Boeing, in that the Boeing will automatically begin the descent when the top of descent point is reached. In an Airbus, you have to order the plane to begin the descent at the top of descent point. We just reached our transition altitude, so we're going to set the barrel reference to 3024. And we'll do the same thing here. 3024. I have now activated the landing system. The airport is now to our right, so we're going to come across about this point here, and then we're going to make a right turn right there. And we're coming up to 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and turn on the landing lights. It turns out that the altimeter setting was not correct in the flight plan, and so we had to change it. It's 3039, and let me go ahead and I think we're fine. We're still slowing down. The approach phase has been activated. Let's go ahead and activate the approach button. And as you can see now, we are decelerating. Autopilot 2 is engaged. Right, let's go ahead. Flaps 1. And at this point, we're going to set the auto brake to low. We'll arm the speed brake. All right, and gear down. Flaps 2. Flaps 3. And flaps full. Okay, and at this point I'm going to go ahead and disengage the autopilot. And it is my plane now.
$1,000.
1,000 feet to go.
Approaching 3-4 right.
$500.
500 feet.
400. 300. 100 above. 200. Minimum. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard. 5.
And welcome to Salt Lake City. Reverse thrust. $60 knots. Manual braking. Alright, let's make a stop here and take a quick look at our landing.
Guys, 765, reduce speed to 170 to zenith. 170 knots till zenith. Skyway City 45, still maintain 4,000, maintain 250 knots. 250 knots, descend 4,000, got switch 45.
I think our landing today was a pretty okay landing. Well, let's go ahead and turn the APU. We're going to wait for the APU to become available. We can turn off the landing lights and turn on taxi lights. Strobe can go off. By the way, you see the clock here, it says 1 hour 5 minutes, and the reason why it's not showing 2 hours is due to the fact that I normally speed up the simulator to ×2 the speed during cruise. So if we multiply that by a factor of 2, we get about 2 hours or so. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on the APU bleed. Looks like this is a good place to park the aircraft. Okay, and we can now turn off our engines. Well, folks, this brings us to the conclusion of our video today. I hope that this was a useful and enjoyable video. I certainly enjoyed making it for you. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.